Everyone knows this.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Surface Interval with Ina Shark.
So today we have M from Salty Souls, a friend of mine. Met a few years ago in Mexico, in Baja, La Ventana. Came to the island last year, and now she's back again here. So, yeah, M, welcome to my little
Humble abode.
my podcast in my living room. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, just quickly introduce yourself and how do you introduce yourself?
I'm Emily from...
Mike.
I'm Emily from Salty Souls. I have a freediving school in Baja California Sur in La Ventana. I've been freediving for like 8 years and running expeditions, running the school, just running around, being salty.
You're a freedive instructor as well.
Freediving instructor, yeah.
Yeah.
Freediving instructor.
So how is it like to live in La Ventana?
It's really interesting because even though we're focused on freediving and it's one of the best places for like megafauna in the world, in the Sea of Cortez, like it's called the Aquarium of the World by Jacques Cousteau, half of the year is not good conditions for diving, like specifically in La Ventana, because it's, you know, we've got the wind season and then
the kite season.
Yeah. So some people go there and they have no idea what is in their backyard. And it's funny living there because most of the time, all the people that come, we are like a very small percentage of divers that actually live there. And then the rest are people that are what we call like snowbirds that basically come down in the winter months from US and Canada. And then or all over the world. It's like...
So what are the good months for diving there? I imagine the windy season is for the kiteboarders.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the dive season. What are the months?
I would say the shoulder seasons, in my opinion, are the best months. So the shoulder seasons would basically be like May to July. Summer starts to get really hot, so it kind of starts to scare people away. But it's prime conditions in that time, in the summer.
Why did you say it's prime conditions?
Because there's no wind. Like the visibility is amazing. There's so much life that's happening there, but it just like the land just gets a little hot.
Yeah, I have been going to Baja since 21. I have been every year and spent a few months, and mostly I would say May, June, July. Those months I spend there. Yeah, it's very hot, but in the water.
If you're in the water every day, it's fine. And also in the fall is really good too. So something that I really love about Baja specifically is that even though, for example, La Ventana, it gets busy with the wind, other places are just on, you know, like we have the sardine run with the striped marlins that come through. Have you done that one?
I have not done that, but tell me more about it. Like I have not done that yet.
Honestly,
many people ask me, now you should go.
Yeah, actually you would love it because it is some of the most Nat Geo, like action orientated, like ocean space that you can get to. So basically you have these massive bait balls of the sardines, and then the striped marlin come. There's sea lions.
Wait, 1 second. That's like October, November.
Yeah. Sorry. So the kind of the beginning of what would be the winter, that like shift in the temperature is where the sardine runs start to happen. So I would say the best season for that is October, and then it'll go sometimes into December, but really within those 3 months is the best time.
So I've seen a lot of videos, and obviously I know so many people who have been there. Big bait balls, marlins, sea lions.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've seen videos of how you call it, Bridesville?
Yeah.
Like scoop in a whole.
Yes, this happened to me this year.
Yeah. Tell me about your experience. There was a whole drama.
There was so much drama with this.
So much drama with that one video you posted. Tell me more about that video. What happened exactly? Because on social media, obviously, you don't know the truth about it.
Yeah.
But tell me,
Yeah. So what was happening is we were basically doing this boat out with like friends we were doing it with Salty Souls, and we were looking for bait balls around the area. So kind of to give you the scene, we're out in the Pacific, like there's boats scattered around the place, and we're all kind of looking for our own bait ball. So sometimes you get lucky and you'll get the massive bait balls, and then other times you kind of get like the smaller ones. But the thing is, and I'm sure we'll talk about this later, sometimes the massive bait balls can get so overcrowded. We'll just leave and we'll find like a medium sized one, because then you can have good action. So we're there with a good bait ball. I'm filming, like we're not even that far away, maybe like 10 meters. And the bait ball's there. There's marlins. And out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, all these jacks start going crazy at it. And it's creating this like tornado where the jacks are coming up and then they're going back down, and it creates so much bubbles. So I'm recording the whole thing, and the video that I posted is fully like no edited, just raw start to finish. And in the cloud, a bride's whale just like emerges, just like full.
It must be amazing.
It was insane. The one thing about that video, I'll be honest, I don't love to hear myself.
Yeah, were you screaming?
Yeah, I think that was like one of the most commented thing that people had to say was, why do girls always have to scream out everything? I can't help it. Like in that moment, this is the thing, is like when you're in the moment and this stuff is happening, it's like I didn't know that a whale was just going to come out of the clouds.
Yeah.
And then like I'm on the surface, I'm like yelling in my snorkel. Half of it is surprise and half of it is just amazement. Like,
yeah, I get that. I'm typically kind of cold person, even like
you're a black cat. I wouldn't say cold. You're just a black cat.
Yeah, I don't react to things much, but I remember first time, not first time, I think it was the second time when I went to Great Whites in Australia.
Yeah.
And this one day I was with the cage master, Maddie, and we went, just me and her, we went for a dive. And we had this insane, like there was about 5 great whites, and 2 of them were very interactive with the cage. And she opened the door for me, and I was kind of taking photos and videos, and I couldn't help, like I don't scream. I was after that when we came back.
But you screamed.
I was screaming, yeah.
But
I was so
why
excited. I
okay,
was like, yeah, come here, come here more. I was talking to the sharks and like screaming.
You're like, come here, what a sharky shark.
Sometimes you like, when you love something so much, you feel like they are your friends, or if they're not behaving, sometimes, like I do middle finger to tigers or something, because I feel like that's
how you treat your friends.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah. So I get that. I don't think many people understand that. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that somebody that has such a relationship with the sharks, I mean, for example, here in Fumala with the tigers, you're seeing these sharks all the time. They're like repeat friends that swing by and say hello, that you get to know them on, what feels like a personal level from your side. So it is kind of like friends.
It is, and they are, they are and they are not. Like
I mean,
from our perspective, they are, but like I don't think they look at us as friends. So I guess that's where the debate comes. Right?
They are wild animals.
Yeah, they're still wild animals.
They are very much wild animals. We like to believe, that we see them so often that we have, but I mean, they probably don't even know.
So anyways, you posted that video, then what happened?
And then what happened was that video got taken out of context. So somebody took my video, they cut all the parts in between, or in the beginning where it shows we're with the bait ball. They just take the part of the video where the whale is coming out. They post that in like red letters saying illegal, and like just how do I say, like, what's the word for it, where somebody like exposes? I want to use the word expose, but the thing is,
they're trying to expose you, right?
Yeah,
I think that's their intention.
I think that the thing about that is that it was under a false narrative. Like what they're trying to expose was creating a story that wasn't even happening. So anyways, yeah, this person had blocked me, so it's not even like we're able to have a conversation of explaining what happened. And the thing is, like, in those situations, we are never chasing animals. We're never like trying to get in front or like cutting off animals. If someone were to come to me and say, hey, Emily, I want to go with Salty Souls and I want to go in the water with whales, it's like, we don't do that. But in this scenario, it was
just there, right?
It was just there. And I think that it's, you know, I do understand where this ethical debate comes in because, okay, Emily, I'm here and I am posting this video. So then this dilemma is coming up of like, should I even be posting that? Because it gives a false idea that that is something that people can experience.
I mean, I think I've been to Baja, like I said, since 21 every year, for like until last year, and I have seen even that short amount of time that I've been visiting to Baja, the amount of increase in people, more so social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I was treated with the same person you're talking about, something completely unrelated. I was not even Baja, I was in Mauritius and posted a video, and she did the same thing. And social media space is one, like, the reason last year I was there, and what I have seen in terms of big crowds and also genuinely people who are friends of mine, or some of them, and people that I know. I feel like that place had become a magnet for a lot of influencers, like myself, yourself, and a lot of other people that we know and friends with. And so many of it has to do who gets the best photo,
Yeah.
rather than who gets the best experience,
Yeah,
or
and
most
also
ethical
like,
experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you know, the thing, and I've had a lot of conversations about this with a lot of people that run there, and the thing is that I'm not against swimming with whales. You know, like, we also run expeditions in French Polynesia where there are really, really amazing regulations that kind of like, you know, the animal is foremost. And the thing is that if that type of standard for encounters was done everywhere, the issue is not swimming with the animal itself. Like, that's been proven in these places where they are socials. I guess that the issue is how people do it. Because the thing is that I've seen really bad interactions before. I've seen whales coming one direction, and there are boats that come straight in front of it, totally cut it off, drop right on top. And like,
I've seen that, especially with orcas in Baja. Last year when I was there, I think there was one day about, I found 27 boats I counted,
yeah.
and everyone was at the beginning. Everyone was more in control, but then one or two boats, they don't follow the. Okay, so what we were doing is like, okay, we had a boat in line, so the one in front jumps in, and then the second boats kind of follow, and then some two guys came, they just didn't follow, they started jumping whenever, and then everyone started doing that.
Yeah, like, it just takes one person to totally throw off the entire organization of how people are trying to do it.
Yeah, so I'm also not against doing it. I think as long as everyone is respectful and give especially whales or orcas, time to breathe, let them breathe a few times, get in whatever, like, it can be done in a way that doesn't harm the animals. What do you think? You obviously lived there and you have more experience. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, with the whales, we just won't. We won't really ever jump in with the whales. With the orcas, there is a management plan that's being put in place now, so it does have like a set of guidelines of what is the right situation of when to be in the water
What
with
is
orcas.
the right situation?
So, for example, not when they're feeding, or like when they're in transit, or even like that the boat has to be a certain distance away. There has to be a certain amount of boats in the area that can actually jump in the water with the orcas. So it's starting to take those little problems of overcrowding with way too many boats, like how you were saying, 27. Like if I were to come up to a pot of orcas and there was 27 boats, we would actually just like turn around because it just gets crazy.
Yeah, it's just way too many. Do you think the regulation will be enforced this year?
I think that it's definitely taking a step in the right direction. I can't really say the level that I think that it will be enforced. What's really cool right now is that there are a lot of courses that a lot of the guides in the area are having to go through. So it's becoming a process of actually training how to properly, come in the water, approach, like learn what is ethical. So I think that's what's really cool is that there is now starting to be that standard, which I feel like before was kind of a gray area. But now I feel like, when you do that and you get the guides in the area to have a common idea, then from there you are just setting the pretense of what is good and what is bad.
Someone who is listening to this or watching this, someone had never been to Baja, and when you go online and you see so many options, right? So there's, in my understanding, there are people like yourself and Alex, my friend Alex, and so many other people who have companies and run expeditions or ocean safaris or whatever everyone calls it. At the end of the day, it's the same, right? And also there are you can just go there, hire a captain, and just go out, right? And it gets overwhelmed if you're looking on internet
Yeah,
to choose
surely.
what's right and what's wrong and who's ethical and who's not. What would you say to those people who are looking into these things and say what's the right way or the best or safest way for themselves and also for the animals?
Yeah.
How do they do it?
How do we choose?
How do you choose? Yeah.
Honestly, my answer is probably not what you would expect, but anybody who guarantees, I say, is a major red flag, in my opinion. Because the thing is, like, whenever people come up and say, oh yeah, like I really want to go to Baja for orca season, in my head I'm like, there isn't really an orca season. It's very much like, it's not that, okay, if I go to Baja in the time of May to June, I'm guaranteed to see it. So anybody who's out there guaranteeing wildlife, I feel like that's not a company that you should go with. I think that any company that prioritizes having like guides, for sure. So not just like going out randomly with just your group. It's super important to have a guide that actually knows how to approach the animal. So like how we were just talking about, somebody that has gone through the training process of understanding the guidelines and ethical standards, and as well as companies that basically put wildlife first. For me, a huge green flag is actually when a guide can like set boundaries. Like when a guide and even a captain can tell you no. Like if, I'm somebody that goes on the boat and I'm pressuring like, hey, go and like speed in front and cut it off. And your guide is like, that's not how we do that here. Or actually a guide that if they see that you're doing unethical things will tell you to get back on the boat. Like things like that I feel like are actually important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but still, like someone who is watching it, like I don't think they can understand it. And a lot of times, the time that I've spent in Baja, I noticed so many people run expeditions. Like I did one last year, and this year Alisa is doing one, and so many people uh, do that. And I think and also you do like group expeditions around the world, right? And I don't do it as often as you do, and you have a whole calendar and you guys go, I don't know, Baja here, French Polynesia and other places. And I think that's a very important thing for someone to choose, right? Like who's the right host.
Yeah.
And in order to identify the right host, in your opinion, what kind of question, let's say if I want to go with you, what should I ask you
Yeah, this is good.
to figure out if you are the right host?
Yeah, I guess what I would ask is if you want to like ethically increase your chance of going somewhere, having good encounters, I would first ask, is this something that you can guarantee? First of all, like if they say no, okay, great. This is somebody that's actually practicing true wildlife safaris. Second thing I would ask is like what is the kind of the area or distance that we're actually going to cover? Because in reality, the more distance that you cover, if you're not just staying in the bay, but you're actually able to go more offshore, you're probably going to see more wildlife. So that's a big thing as well, is you might have some companies that are just going to keep it very short as opposed to actually being able to expand the distance that you can cover for actually seeing orcas or wildlife. I guess as well. This is such a hard question, Ina, because it's
like
such a hard question.
Let's say what I would say, like first
yeah,
of all,
you
like
tell me.
in my opinion, let's say if someone comes here, if you come here and then if you start working with a reputable company or here, right? So there's so many options in Baja, like so many captains, and some captains are really good and well known, and some are not locals. And it's important to work with those people who have the right knowledge and also who have some kind of good reputation. So if you come here and then you just choose as the cheapest or the company that doesn't have the most reputable experiences or whatever, and if you choose to work with them, for me, you are only thinking about the money you're gonna make. You're not thinking about the experiences you're gonna give to your people or safety or whatever. So that's important as well, working with locals or local knowledge. And I think the other questions you could ask is the kind of experience you have in that particular field. Let's say if you are hosting whales, where have you been working with whales?
Yeah,
right?
like what's the range of your experience?
What's the range of your experience? So those things matters. And then if you follow, let's say your social media, is it more centered around getting the clicks and likes or the views, or you actually providing some sort of value to the people who are following you? It's very easy to go on someone's social media and tell what kind of person they are. Are they really centered around the taking photos and videos and getting the likes and attentions and followers, or are they actually providing some sort of information or value, or they genuinely care about? If they genuinely care about, they will provide information. Their captions will be sort of
they're information based.
Yeah.
Like my one friend Jamie, you know Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie.
So he's somebody that I have learned so much about because like when I go on the boats with him, their team is so dedicated to sharing like information about the animals, not just, like what you're going to see, but so in depth with all the statistics about them, like their like where they're coming from, what are the migration routes, what are they eating, like what are they doing here in this area. So that's really cool because it is providing so much more than just we're gonna see it.
And also who gives back.
Yeah,
right?
definitely, of course.
And some people do greenwash by saying like there's this guy who runs expedition here. I'm even not scared mentioning this Jono guy, like Australian. He would say, "Oh, we donate filters, so we give him back to, I don't know, community, or half of your money or whatever profit goes to this and this, and but never do it." So, but there are some people who actually do it,
greenwashing
right?
is
Like
real.
there's part of greenwashing, but that also again, you can filter these things by
Yeah.
looking at their short social media.
Totally.
Do they actually give back in terms of conservation, science, whatever?
Yeah.
These are all sort of things that people can look at and choose the right host or expedition leader, whatever we call them.
Like when I run these trips and when I, have people on the boat, the thing is that I don't really say that I'm a guide per se. Like I'm a freediving instructor and we do go out and we see the animals. But what I focus on that I feel really helps to make the interactions a lot more ethical is actually allowing us to do the training to become better people in the water. So it's not just like, okay, I'm dumping a bunch of snorkelers that are, limbs are everywhere. We're splashing, we're scaring the animals. I think that something that's really overlooked is how much us and how we control our body and how we are in the water and how comfortable we are makes a huge impact on having the least amount of stress. Like, I'm going to use the example of the mobula migration. Last year, I posted a video that was basically calling out bad habits for interacting with animals. And this type of video I actually kind of thought was going to create a little bit of controversy. I wasn't like specifically singling anybody out, but I was just looking at videos on social media of how beautiful it can be and things that they're doing that are stressing the animals. So I was calling out things like you have the giant fever of mobulas, the rays that are coming through, and you would just see a freediver going straight down the middle and splitting everything away. This isn't like, you're stressing the animals. And so like part of what we teach and when we're on the line and when we actually use that practice of training and putting it in the water with the animals is how do we actually be better divers? Like keeping the arms in, actually putting our hips to the side so that we're swimming sideways and our fins are under the water. Like so many little details that make a huge difference in the human to animal interaction.
And that's the role of a leader, right? When you're hosting an expedition. And we spoke about this. Not everybody who is going to join will be an experienced, right? We want the non-experienced people to learn from us, teach them right techniques, teach them how to interact safely and ethically to these animals. And that's the quality of a leader, right? An expedition leader. And I think it's important anyone who goes there to teach before they actually interact with the animal, at least like simple things. So in sideways, like
when I do these expeditions with you, like we're doing courses here as people are interacting with animals. Like it is a real time you learn and then we put that into practice. And you can see it too. Like I remember last year, our group from day one until the last day, the improvement was insane.
They're really, the way you do it, because you're a free dive instructor, is really good. And not everyone who hosts expeditions are free dive instructor, right? But I think it is important for scuba divers anyways. If you can only scuba dive if you have license, right? But you can snorkel or free dive even without license. So those who I would recommend, like those who want to join expeditions, if you're planning to go to, let's say, French Polynesia or whatever, Moorea here, anywhere.
I mean, you can't free dive with them there.
Yeah. Even if you can't free dive, you still learn the right techniques of finning because you have to kick so far to get to a whale. I think 100 meters, right? That's the rule.
And there we were with this really amazing company, this guy Captain Zhu with Natura. And they were so thorough with how we approach the animals. Like as soon as you get off the boat into the water, you're like quiet.
Yeah.
Like so, how I was saying before, like so much respect around the animal. Like, we are coming into its space, its home for this interaction, and there's no way that we can stress it out. Is basically like the principles that they're guiding these trips. And I think that that's something that people have kind of lost sight of. You know, we're talking about social media.
Yeah,
And
so everything, and I get, I'm sure some people are gonna comment here is like, oh, you know, you touch the sharks and you do this and you get the clicks,
you
do
give a
that.
middle finger
Yeah,
to the
give a
shark.
middle finger to the sharks, and I'm on the receiving end. And I understand a lot of time where most people come from,
Yeah.
and I think a whale, a dolphin, a orca, and a shark also there's a difference, and yeah, so I here we are diving with, even today you were there in the water, like what,
Yeah, we had,
32 tiger sharks,
Yeah,
right?
it was
I was
a lot.
free diving with them while you guys were scuba diving, and sometimes we do have to interact with them in a way that I don't think, I mean, I like doing that, to be honest. I like redirecting sharks, but we also don't do
But
it
you're not looking
unnecessarily.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for it. When I get to do it, I get really excited and I want to do it. And it's a different feeling, obviously, but with the sharks, when they approach to you or to the guests, we have to do it.
Yeah, but I think that there's a difference being a professional with a business in the role of shark safety versus people see your videos. And it's kind of like paralleling what I was talking about with the whale, that people see these videos and then it's like, you know, the ethical implication is that they think that this is a norm. So then you have people that are coming, and I'm sure you get questions all the time like, are we going to redirect sharks?
Yeah, people do ask that. And we always say, no, we only do that for safety and with a lot of training. And also the other end of the argument is, like when you post these videos and people see these videos and people want to do it. And I feel like it's very rare. We host about 1,500 to 2,000 people a year with us, just with us. And out of that, maybe 2-3 people would be really keen to redirect the sharks. Most people are they're like,
they don't even want anything
I don't
to do
want to
with
be
it.
anyway. You guys, we trust you with the safety. Just we want to enjoy and look at the sharks or take photos or whatever their intentions are when they get here. And that being said, there's a lot of criticism or whatever, like comments that I get. I personally, and I think most people will agree, there's no dive guides, shark safety guides in the world, in my opinion, who would understand tiger sharks in a way that when I say we, like all of us and all the safety divers who work here on the island, especially for longer period, because nowhere in the world you get to do 20, 30, 40, 50. I've dove with 50 tiger sharks here at the same time
Every
day, whole year, every year. It's nowhere. So no one has the experience or understanding the way we understand the sharks. No one.
Yeah. And
I mean, if there's anyone, they can reach out to me and I would love to learn from them. But in my opinion, I have never met. And it's very obvious because there's no place in the world like this.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Fumala is very much its own case study. You know,
exactly.
Because even the like geography of the atolls and the islands creates such an environment where you can't get that anywhere else. And I think that there's so much like factors contributing to why there are so many.
And also the way we bait, right? One of the questions we get all the time, do you bait? We do chum the water. We don't hand feed the sharks. So there's a big difference in that. I have done so many different places in the world, like Bahamas, I've been, Florida, I've been to Hawaii, and all these places. The sharks behave very, very differently than here than other places. So the general notion is like, oh, if you splash on the surface, they're gonna come to you. Don't do it. And I agree, don't do it. We also tell the people don't do it. But the reality is, our sharks, I can't even, there are times that I would take off my fins and splash on the surface to see.
They just don't care.
They don't react to the splashing. Same with the yellow fins, same with the high contrast. Again, these are really good practices. We also try to enforce everyone wear darker colors and everything. But our sharks are not conditioned to that. They don't go for these. I don't know what's the reason, but they don't react to those things. None. I've never seen that. To yellow fins, yes, a couple of times to white things, and I've seen that. But generally, they don't anything. Whenever they see something yellow or high contrast, they don't go for it.
Yeah. So
can they go? Can they? Yes, 100%. We all should wear dark.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is like the behavior around here with these sharks are different than.
I have a question. So do you think that if someone comes to Fumala, they're shark diving for like the first time, they're diving a lot with the sharks, do you think that there can be a danger even in just watching the sharks videos on social media, because they now have this impression that wherever they go in the world, the sharks are going to act this way? Do you think that like the generalization of...
Yeah, I think that's a very important question. Everywhere that in my experience, sharks behave differently everywhere you go.
That's something that...
So here it is different. That doesn't mean it will apply to Hawaii or let's say Bahamas or Florida, or same way. It's like, you go there, whatever. Like it's just not the same. That's why you have to go with the locals who have enough experience and understanding about their sharks.
Yeah.
And the way they conduct dive feeding or not feeding or swimming or snorkeling or whatever they do, they know the best and safest practices based on their location. It doesn't mean that should apply to here, or the way we practice should apply to somewhere else. It's everywhere. Human, especially when it comes to tiger sharks, human interaction is, in my opinion, that can condition their behavior towards human.
Yeah.
In Bahamas, when they see the bait box, when there's like come to you, you hand feed and you do all these things. Here, there have been times I would be holding a big tuna head on my hand and they would not take it, like they would not come close and like grab it from my hand. They wouldn't do it. But as soon as I let it go, they will do it.
Yeah.
Right? Here, they are very conditioned to the sound of boats, the propeller sound, because when the boats come, they see you drop the tuna head and they'll go, they fight with us for the tuna heads.
Yeah, there's some classical conditioning going on.
Yeah, so they are conditioned. And it's not just from us as well. That's the fishermen. Whenever they go on the south side of the island for fishing, for tuna fishing, they know they are fishing.
But that was established years before.
Yeah, that's throughout the history that it had been done. Even before the engines came, they were rowing their little boats out of the reef and catching tunas. And that's the reality of this island is, the sharks are not here because we started chumming at the entrance of the harbor. Throughout the history, they have always existed around this island.
Yeah.
And we are doing a lot of scientific research now. Few papers has been published and we collecting data, and everything suggests that this is a gestation and mating ground for tiger sharks.
What, like 85% of
we got over 300
sharks
different individuals ID'd, most 95% or so females. Almost all the adult females, they stay here, they get pregnant, and we see their mating scars, and then they get pregnant, they get really big, they leave, they pop, they come back, the circle. So this cannot be something that had been happening over the last 10 years or so we've been diving here. So it's been throughout the history. This is the gestation and mating ground.
So I have another question, since we're on the topic of chumming, because I have started working with somebody in Cabo, and we've been doing like blue shark diving. And this question that people ask me is when and when not is chumming ethical? Like where is the line? Because like I think that is something that people have a lot of, you know, kind of resistance against with coming to shark dive or not.
I think
on an ethical standpoint.
chumming, honestly, is someone who chums. It's a hard answer, but
I know we're asking
Is-
each other hard questions today.
If you look at the history of this island, it's the fishermen's discarding the fish waste in the water, catching tunas, sharks trying to catch the half of the tunas, the fishermen's catching. The relationship existed in a way that sharks are conditioned from the beginning to that. This is in a way it is natural for them to hang around the fishing boats, eat the fishes that they are catching, or the discarded fish waste from them. So the natural circle was that when they built the harbor, they started coming into the harbor, cleaning the fish in the fish market, dumping it back in the harbor, and then eventually sharks came closer to the island, found an opportunity. Someone found an opportunity, start dumping the fish waste from instead of inside the harbor, kind of at the entrance of the harbor.
Yeah, I
So
think
that was the natural way. But if someone go, okay, I'm gonna create a tourism, oh, I'm gonna start chumming here, bring a lot of sharks, and I'll do hand feed, I'll do this and that. I'm against hand feeding, although sometimes I've did it like for I couldn't resist. But if I'm being honest, I'm not a supporter of doing it all the time and condition the sharks to be hand fed. Then they associate humans with food. So if there's a place where this is I think even in like somewhere I saw the other day, someone posted a video. There's some place I don't remember, but they were dumping like kettles, dead kettles in the water, and then tiger sharks started showing up now feeding on these kettles, and those
cattle's
the cows,
like cows.
yeah. And this is sort of something that is happening. The locals have no choice because there's so many cows on the island and they need to discard them. There's no place to discard them. So I feel like if there's when it happens in natural ways, it's okay, but deliberately going and head feeding, I think that's where the gray line is.
Yeah, I think that like in the context of Fumala, the history of it is coexistence. It's like the way of life, how the island itself has sustained itself as Maldivian people has been through that process. So
that's
I think that like a big thing is that for me, when I think about coming on these expeditions and who do I actually go and shark dive with, is this statement that I've heard a lot, that an alive shark is better than a dead shark. And I think that something that is amazing about kind of shark tourism that's really growing is how much the paradigm of how people understand sharks is shifting. Because if I've thought anything, it's as people learn to love something, then they will actually start to protect it.
We see that all the time. So many people, probably 90% of the people who come to us, at least they have never seen a tiger shark in their life.
Yeah.
And first time they get in the water. And most people are very nervous.
Yeah. I mean,
before their first dive.
And that's kind of a beautiful experience to have somebody that's like in a place of fear, and then by the end they are shark lovers. Like
after
I have
first
seen
dive,
some crazy shark lovers on this island.
Yeah, they get in the water. We do the briefing. They're nervous. They get in the water, and I would say that I have never seen such a big change on something or someone's perspective on something so quickly changing. I have never seen. They go in the water as soon as they see the tiger sharks passing by. They get calm, they get relaxed, they sit there, they watch, they enjoy, they come back. Most of the time they're emotional, they're happy, excited and screaming, or they're crying. And they say like all of those fear or what they have thought about sharks, it changed completely,
it's
because
like coming out.
when they're in the water, they feel like they're so calm, they're so gentle, and they fell in love.
And you're so present.
Yeah.
You know, I think that that's something that I love about sharks, is that it really requires such a level of immediate presence, because it's not really a place that you can like have your mind wandering or lose focus. So I think that like part of the shift in the mind is also not only, okay, we learned that these sharks aren't so, you know, dangerous, but also how they make us feel.
Yeah. And I think it's the only way to change people's perspective on this or perception is just get in the water with them and dive with them. You will understand that they are not what people think they are.
Yeah.
Speaking about these things, and let's talk about, you have a free dive store in La Ventana. Like, how is it as a female freedive instructor in Baja setting up a business? When did you do that? Like 2 years ago you opened it?
Yeah, about three years ago I started Salty Souls.
How's the business going?
It's going good. Yeah. We're growing. In the beginning it was literally just me.
Yeah, and your van.
And my van. Yeah. I've got a really rusty white van that people would get in the back. We'd go to dive sites and start freediving. So it's come a long way from just doing that. We've got a team now, and it's amazing. I think that, you know, I can kind of hear what you're saying about the sharks and shifting this fear, and I relate to that a lot, because freediving, something that I've always really loved about being an instructor, is how much people change within a single course, how much they actually start to connect with the water and like discover more about themselves, and these limits in our mind of what we believe that we can achieve. You know, like when we do the course, it's like, in 2.5 days, in 3 days, our maximum depth is going to be 20 meters. And to some people, they're like...
Yeah, a lot of time people think freediving is very hard to do.
They think
I cannot do this, you know, it's so deep.
They
like
think
20
that
meters,
it's
like
such an extreme sport.
Yeah.
And it is, but I think that, you know, a big theme that we've been talking about is how much the media can create this image of something. I, as a female instructor, or I don't know, as an instructor, as me, I don't focus on numbers. Something at the end of every single dive, I'm always like, how was that? How do you feel? Like, what kind of sport do you do, where you're like, how did that make you feel? You know, I'm like,
you're a therapist
on the line. But
did you had a dream last night?
Yeah. But my focus is I want people to allow that to be a present experience. Like, I want it to be something sensory. I want them to like, what's it like, you know? Find that individuality within every dive. Like, use that as a tool to check in on yourself. Like, as you descend, how does that make you feel? That's the whole point of why I called it Salty Soul, is like, I want it to be that like deeper level of finding something in yourself.
Yeah. Do you know the guy Alex Henold, the guy who free soloed?
Yeah, he's amazing.
Can you look at the video that he was talking about people
making mountains out of molehills?
No, he was talking about like, if you every now and then you have to do something
that scares the shit out of you.
This
is what he's talking about.
And people don't understand, like, if what he explained in perfect words, like, as Alex Henold, like,
yes,
I think you shared it. the other
remember
day.
him like using this analogy of like people in airports.
Yeah, that's what that's the video. Yeah,
that
like
they're like so stressed out.
yeah,
And I like, as a freediving instructor, I see that all the time. I can give you all the tools in the world of technique, how to have a good breath hold, like how to prepare yourself. But something that is such an underrated skill is people don't know how to relax. And
yeah.
I can't teach you how to relax. I
I
can't.
think it's everything in your life. You need to look at it
Yeah.
in different ways. You have to take risk and you have to do things that you are uncomfortable with. Then only
Yes.
you learn. And like I put the video like later on, and so people to see the way he explained at the airport. And I travel a lot. Last year I took 100 flights, and every time if there's a
Yeah.
delay or if there's something, I don't know, whatever, like the way he's like, people freak out, people start screaming, some people like all stressed, and like, and he said, you know why, there's abundance of food there's like a temperature climate controlled area, you just sit and
Totally.
do it, like go have some food or a drink or whatever, just you know. That's why I think these kind of things, free diving or shark diving,
It is such an
Yeah.
internal challenge
Yeah.
because I think that people don't actually know who they are in the face of stress or in the place of fear, in the place of discomfort. Like, who are you when you're put in places where you're new to something? Or like, I do have to hold my breath and go through uncomfortable contractions or just to breathe.
Yeah.
Just those micro stresses can put people into total, emotional distress. And the thing is that that's okay in the beginning. Like, for those things, in my opinion, like I really tried to create a safe space for people. If, I get somebody that comes online and they do start to cry, like, let it out. Let the water be the space where it's safe for you, for all those things to come out. But then approach with curiosity, like come back to it and see what's beyond that. Can you actually now shift into a place where I'm uncomfortable, but I can do hard things? I'm okay to be a beginner. Can you like find the mental headspace where we kind of put the ego to the side, because when we can intellectualize that, okay, I'm not going to die, that wasn't so bad. Or it's like this relationship between responsiveness to reactivity. And I think that we live in a very, very, very reactive world. And freediving for me is like, it's a philosophy. It's a way of being. It's like,
yeah, breathing is everything, right?
I mean,
And I
yeah, I mean, we don't have the breath, but yeah.
I mean, like, but before
Yeah.
you go for your preparation,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
It's all about how you breathe, right?
Yeah,
That determines
relaxing, like,
how you relax. And without proper breathing techniques, you can't relax. You can't bring your heart rate down.
yeah, or even the mental headspace.
Yeah. When you're
Everything.
breathing, you're focused on very specific thing, and that's something I learned very recently, how breathing helps, because I don't know, like year and a half, 2 years ago, I had like, everything that I do, it started affecting my sleep.
Yeah.
I was not able to fall asleep, and I was looking some videos on Instagram, like people talking about breathing, how it calms your nervous systems and how much it relaxes you. So what I started, someone explained, before you go into bed, just put an alarm for 5 minutes, countdown, and just breathe.
Yeah.
Nothing special, just breathe in and out, like, but deep breaths in, deep breaths out, and in a calm, gentle way. And before that 5 minute timer is up, I'm already sleeping.
Yeah.
Like,
and
my
then the
nervous
alarm wakes you up. Yeah. But just this alone, what you're doing is you're putting yourself in an environment where you're training yourself how to relax, like through the breath. And you can tap into relaxation through many different ways. The breath is the most common because it does create this mind to body connection of our life source. Like if you've ever heard of pranayama, like it breaks down prana, which is the life force. We're talking about the breath, this connection between what is allowing us to live and then in our body ourselves.
Human body is fucking insane. Like this Alexei guy,
Yeah.
when I see him doing like a 7-minute dive to 100 and I don't know 30, 20, whatever like meters down, like I'm like he's
He's
like
a fish. He is
how?
straight up.
But it's pure discipline
It's discipline.
and techniques. Is I don't think he's uniquely
it's
built either. It's like
it's
it's just everything
discipline.
we have. Yeah, it's discipline.
It's discipline in the mind. It's discipline in showing up every single day. It's discipline in he's pushing himself through such uncomfortable limits in every single way.
Yeah.
Not just pressure on the body. Like as we start to go deeper, our lungs compress to the size of our fists. Like if you watch his videos on YouTube of his world record dive, he's going down. He's like, ugh. It's not because he's like trying to look slim or anything. It's literally because his lungs have compressed to this big. And
So lungs can compress to this.
oh yeah, lungs compress that small.
Wow.
It's something called residual volume. So our lungs compress so small, like yours would probably compress to like 1.2 liters. But if you were to take a deep breath of air, you're at 6 liters. Like if I were to go, my lungs will compress to literally a fifth of that initial size.
Wow. Yeah, I get Molchanov, right? He's like, I'm like, I watch his videos all the time. I'm like, how is a human he's doing it?
Yeah.
And I mean, I am really good at shallow waters, like 10 meters and above. I can stay a couple of minutes and, very comfortable. My heart rate is
Super
in a
low.
weird way. Like if I'm spending like an hour in the water free diving, towards at the end, it goes down to 45 to 50. Like, and when I'm scuba diving, there have been days that I'm with sharks. It gets so low. Sometimes it's 39, 40.
Yeah.
I'm like,
But-
how?
But
Like, how is
you
it?
know that this is called the mammalian diving reflex. Do you know what this is?
I know the reflex, but I don't know what's the connection between
What's
the-
happening in the
yeah.
body? Well,
Let me
Good.
explain
let me tell you because
for
So-
once.
so the mammalian diving reflex, I love to express it as our whale mode. So even though evolution took us onto the land and we're land mammals, we still have this like reflex in our bodies from back when, we were still more aquatic. And so basically it is our body switching into the most aquatic mode possible. So we're increasing efficiency in almost every single way. So we get the bradycardia effect, which is what you're describing. It's when our heart rate can drop so low because we're in contact with water, we're holding the breath. And so the body is basically slowing down the heart rate so we're not using up our oxygen as quickly because we don't have connection to land and air. So we're holding the breath. The body is recognizing we're now in breath hold. And so it slows everything down. And we're now becoming more efficient with how oxygen is distributed around the body. So that's one thing that's happening. We also get something called vasoconstriction, where it kind of has to relate to depth. So how I was just telling you that when Alexei goes down, his lungs compress super small. If we technically follow the laws of physics with air volume as we go down and down, down, technically, if I were to take a balloon and I kept going, the balloon would compress to like a peanut at some point. And then as we come up, it will expand again. But with humans and with all mammals, this reflex basically stops the compression. Like we stop the shrinking of the volume. And this is from the mammalian diving reflex. Basically in our extremities, in our hands and in our feet, the veins start to get tight. And that blood starts to go into the capillaries and veins that surround our lungs. So now it's cushioned with liquid. And liquid does not compress. So we literally get to a point where our lungs stop compressing so that they don't shrivel up into little peanuts. And
Where's the air then?
they're still there. We're just at the smallest point at which the lungs can compress. And now they're cushioned. They're cushioned with blood. So the lungs become incompressible after a certain point. So in the first 10 meters, our lungs will compress half of the size. So you'll go from 6 liters, now we're down to 3. The deeper you go, it will get smaller and smaller and smaller. But at a certain point, it stops compressing.
It's weird.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird shit.
Yeah, and we also have enlarged, we don't have enlarged spleens, but we have spleen contraction. So as we're holding the breath, and as we're starting to go deeper, as CO2 is rising, the spleen carries red blood cells, which is oxygen-rich blood. And so in the breath hold, this will actually contract and it will give us a boost of oxygen in our system. So I kind of imagine
Is that the organ that we have in the body that we don't know what the function is, or
is that the gallbladder? Or do I just not know the function of the
like,
gallbladder?
you know, this maybe I'm mixing some, like there's these
Well,
people who lives in somewhere in Philippines.
Yes.
Who
So the Bajau people.
Yeah.
So these are some of the first freediving people that like have.
By the way, it's your home.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not Bajau, but I'm half Filipino. But it gives me a lot of pride, and that's why I'm so excited to learn about these things, because
So
the
tell
history,
me.
Yeah. So basically, it's kind of a similar environment of a chain of islands like the Maldives, and the same coexistence with the water and the people. And so the Bajau, they have been spearfishing for hundreds and hundreds of years, and there have been studies on these people that they have already endured microevolution, and they have enlarged spleens, which is where it's carrying the oxygen-rich blood, that when this contracts, they have more oxygen, so it allows them to have longer breath holds.
Yeah,
it
it's
allows
crazy
them to be,
the way, like,
and they even have, I think there's some studies that they have improved eyesight underwater.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they go like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, like underwater or something, right?
Yeah, and you know, like I've always had this question in my mind of, we have this very Western standard of breath holds and competition style, but imagine if these people had access to competitions like that, and they have literally gone through microevolution. Like it's such a curious thing. I think
I've seen some. There's a documentary in, I don't know, Nature or something about these people, and I remember watching it.
I know, it's called Jago, A Life Underwater. It's my favorite freediving underwater
you guys
documentary.
should watch it. It's pretty cool.
It is amazing. And you know what my favorite part of this documentary is that they highlight such a beautiful, like, connection with the water that these people have. It's not just, oh, I love the water, I resonate with the water. It is like a deep spiritual, like, their action will anger the gods of the ocean. And so the way that they interact with the water, how their standards of ethics is so centered around their entire belief system. It's and this documentary does such an incredible job of showing that.
That's amazing. Yeah. So I don't know, we almost at the end of the podcast. Like, we could
just
talk.
What I'm starting to get excited about it.
I think
we covered a lot.
How many more minutes we have, Sarim?
15%. So translate that into minutes. No idea.
Well, we can talk, but I do want to talk about the business side of what we do, though.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
We've covered the ethics.
Yeah.
Is it right? Is it wrong? Honestly, do we really even know? We've covered,
I don't
some
think
stuff
anyone
about.
knows.
No, let's not go back into it. But
But
let's
yeah,
talk
the
about
business side of what we do. You have a company, I have a company. We both do sort of similar things, and a lot of people, I think, find value in marketing, social media.
Yeah.
And you use that, I use that. How do you market and find business for expeditions, for your own free dive school and stuff? What do you do?
Yeah, so my kind of niche and the focus that I want to come across when I'm marketing more has to do with the water being something that we can use to find ourselves, like all these things that I'm talking about with freediving, and also that we can use those skills in order to have amazing interactions. So it's this two parts of what the water can like exchange, like this two-way interaction for what can we do and how does that in turn help us to have better experiences. And I mean, if you come onto my page, you will probably see that I'm very excited and I get very excitable, because I think what's important on the business side of things is we are humans talking to humans, and something that you should communicate is emotion, whether that is, you know, positive excitement, negative, the release of emotion, if you call that negative. This like multi-layer of what is the ocean? What are things that we see? How are we in the water? And then what does that make us feel as humans?
Yeah.
Does
So
that make sense?
that's what you preach
I do.
on your social media. And
Yeah, I try to come from a lens that the water makes us more human. And I think that that's what a lot of people struggle with, especially like in the Western world where, you know, we're in cities, we're kind of disconnected from nature. And so water being that portal of feeling more wild. Like my handle is Emgonewild because I want us to feel more feral and unhinged and wild. And when I have this excitement, I think that it gives other people permission to you know, just like be ridiculous, and we need to normalize that in some ways.
Yeah, I think like I don't know, when there's no boundaries, how does that look like? You know,
I mean, I hope that I haven't. I hope I haven't crossed the line.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's not a bad way. And I think I
how do you do it?
Social media, right? That's
or like what point are you trying to make?
Social media. How do you? This is something I get asked. Also, we use it all the time,
because we have very different approaches.
Yeah, there's no, in my opinion, there's no point of growing your social media unless you have a product to sell. If you look at
sure, I mean, if like anybody who grows will eventually use it as a tool.
Yeah,
and that's the thing, is like we really need to look at social media as a tool and not like the framework for our mental health and self-esteem. That's where it becomes very toxic.
Yeah,
but like from the marketing side of things.
Yeah, that's so some people, their goal is to become an influencer, get bunch of sponsorship, whatever, like free trips and these things. And in the social media world, I personally think it's less than 1% of the people who actually get like brand sponsorships and make decent living out of it. And most of the influencers are broke. They don't make livable income from social media.
It's not sustainable for them.
And then that's the group and then the other group is people like myself and you, who use our following to sell a product.
Yeah,
which in my case is the shark experience, and in your case is freediving and everything else you do. So if you don't have a goal like that, and if you don't leverage that, I don't think there's any point of trying to be, I don't know, posting every day on social media and like grow your following. But if you do want to do that, have an idea, okay, like what's having a physical product to sell.
Yeah, I think that like
use it as a tool, like you said. Yeah,
I think that's that influencing it gets a bad rap, and I know that there's a lot of people that use the platform as expression, for example, or they're trying to give visibility to a certain group. And I think that the biggest thing at the end of the day is not just using it for a product, but to give a service of making somebody feel seen or creating a community. And within that community, then having, you know, like services that can really help to bring people together, where it could be like ocean retreats or expeditions. Like this is a great example where I think that as well, when we talk about marketing, sometimes I have questions of it kind of being like something slimy. You know what I mean? Like that relationship with money, but coming back to this idea of like service with purpose.
Yeah, I do wanna like on an upcoming episode, I do wanna go step by step what I have personally done in order to grow my social media. Use that as a leverage to make business growing, open a business, grow from then, and grow into 6-7 different businesses. So
wow, I want to know
within the 6-year period
what's in the toolbox.
Yeah, so I do want to talk about I was gonna talk about, but I feel like we have to end this today, but for now. But you guys said you have to wait.
We could talk forever.
We have to wait for the another episode to know what did I
what a
learn.
cliffhanger. I would be pissed if it's like finally we got to the good part where we're gonna talk about how I can make some money. I'm pissed.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Okay, never mind. Sorry guys.
Thanks Emily for
thank you so much
sitting here on my couch and visiting the surface interval and talking to me and sharing all this experience.
It was amazing.
Yeah, looking forward to dive with you tomorrow.
I know, you have a whole month of me.
Oh yeah. With you. Okay, I gotta mentally prepare.
Yeah, go sleep.
All right guys.
Thank you
very much.